Glass Garden here. Today we're going to go through this tank and how exactly I set it up to be as successful as it is. First, let's talk aqua soil. So in this tank, I have about 1.5 inches of aqua soil. This is UNS Concha soil. I also like Fluval stratum personally, but having a nice deep bed of aqua soil will help your plants thrive. Next, let's talk about the hardscape. So in this tank, I used series stone and some spiderwood pieces I had. So I have one piece here, one piece here. Plants I have in here. So we have pearlweed, we have crypts, we have flame moss, and we have jungle val. I was very specific with the plants I wanted to put in here. And the more plants you have, the better the water tends to be. And with the moss, it's just a nice accent. But when planting moss, you have your light up here, right? So you want to make sure that these are facing. You don't want to plant it like under here, right? You want to plant it on top or on top or on top. Before we talk about stocking, let's talk about filtration. So in this, we actually have a sump because this tank is meant for salt water. But I didn't want any of my shrimps or anything to get sucked up within this sump here because it actually falls down. So I actually put a hang on the back on this with just a sponge on the end so that any shrimp or small fish or anything that might breed won't get sucked up into this filter and then come out. It's good to let your tank sit for a little while. You know, give it about 2 weeks to a month, depending, unless you have other tanks set up and cycled. You can use like old filter media, squeeze it out in here. But you want it to kind of seed with beneficial bacteria first. You can also use quick start if you want. I don't. I actually did a fish in cycle in this tank. So when I made this tank, I actually put 2 platies in here and let them sit for a while and just let them, you know, their poop and me feeding them as slowly build beneficial bacteria in the tank, right? And let it just really seed before I added more fish. Like there's a lot more fish in this now than when I started. And for top plants here, I'm actually not sure what kind of plant this is. I was just testing it out to see if it would work in just water. And as you can see, it does. All that green is new growth. And then we have pothos here. I just stuck it right in the back of a hang on the back. It helps a lot with the water quality and the nitrates because next, we're going to talk about the stocking, right? There's a somewhat heavy stocking in this tank. So this is a 20-gallon cube, and I have 4 platies. So I have 2 sunsets, 2 Mickey Mouses. I have 4 albino corridoras. I have ram's horn snails. I have blue dream shrimp, right? There's one there. There's one there. I have 1 mystery snail, and then I have, let's see if we can see here. I have 1 bristlenose pleco that stays back here. To a lot of people's standards, this would be overstocked, right? But because of the amount of beneficial bacteria and the plants are thriving and pulling all of those nitrates and lowering the ammonia in the tank, this tank is a full developed ecosystem. I don't have to do anything to this tank. I don't have to do water changes. I don't even dose this tank because the amount of fish I have produce enough nutrients for these plants to thrive. I mean, you can see how healthy the flame moss is, or we have actually new shoots coming into the jungle val here. And this is growing. I'm about to cut this and replant this pearlweed here pretty soon. And these crypts have just absolutely exploded. They did melt back a little bit when I took them out of a different tank, but I think that's because the water parameters were just a slight bit different, right? But they are exploding. I mean, they're spreading. I mean, this tank is just perfect. Compared to the problem tank I have over here, you can see some melt, but that's for a different video. We'll go through this tank another time. So that is the goal here. So let's recap really quick on what exactly this tank needs and does for it to be successful. 1, I do a decent layer of aqua soil at the bottom because it provides nutrients to the roots of all these plants minus the moss. 2, what we're going to do is you're going to hardscape it however you want. That doesn't matter if a tank running good or bad. 3, plant it heavy. This isn't heavily planted now, but it is going to slowly start growing. And it is eventually going to be heavily planted when it grows out. These plants help a lot. If you have access, Home Depot sells pothos for pretty cheap. You can take it home, take it out of the dirt, wash it off, put it in your tank. It'll help a lot, I promise. 4, be careful with stocking at the beginning. If you want to do a fish in cycle, put 1 or 2 fish in here. Don't put as many fishes in here right now. It's because this is an established tank that I can have this many fish. You will most likely get algae if you do so. And lastly, patience. It's all about patience in this hobby. Enjoy what you have in the tank as it's growing out, right? So at first I had one sunset platy and I had my purple Mickey Mouse, or blue Mickey Mouse. And I just left it there for about 3 months. And after that, I added the bristlenose pleco that's hiding back there. And then I waited another month or two. And then I added the 4 Corridoras. Then I waited another month. And then I added 2 platies. Because I needed to give the system enough time in the biofilm to create in here for it to be successful and not create algae. Look at it as like nuking the tank with the amount of bioload. When you add fish, well, fish are alive, they poop. So the more fish you add at once, the more poop you're gonna have at once, the more ammonia you're gonna have, the more nitrates, etc. So be patient and you will end up getting something that looks like this. I hope that helped you guys understand how to create a somewhat successful tank. There's a million different ways out there to create tanks. That's just the way I personally do it. And if you have any questions or anything to let me know, like what do you think of the tank? Or do you have any questions maybe I didn't answer? If so, leave a comment below and make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be posting a lot more content on here and I look forward to building a community with you.